It is time now for business news with Richard Southern. Hello, Richard.
Hello, Cynthia.
And we're going to start with, meanwhile, Doug Ford and Justin Trudeau are still meeting one floor below us, right over there. We're watching that. Doug Ford's going to come out shortly. But first, he's got a whole new revenue stream to deal with in a good way.
And he needs it now with all the money that's gone out the window the last few years.
And you've been following this very closely.
It's gambling, right, Cynthia?
Gambling.
So, in April, the province opened up the gambling market. Basically, all the quasi-illegal offshore sites that many Ontarians were plunking their money down on, they could apply to become legal, and many did, right, Cynthia. And we now know how much money Ontarians gambled in the first 3 months, from April to June, just over $4 billion.
Wow. Is that higher or lower than you expected?
It sounds like it is a huge number.
Sounds like a lot of money.
Less, though, than what a lot of the private experts were expecting. Revenue totaling $162 million. The average gambler spent about $113 a month. There were 492,000 active gamblers. See, the industry, they were expecting about $1.6 billion to be brought in for the year on a whole. So the fact that they're making revenue of $162 million in 3 months, less than what they were expecting. Still, though, as you say, Cynthia, a new revenue source, and one that experts think will continue to grow. There's only 18 companies that are currently legal to do this in Ontario. That number is expected to grow.
And people might get more into it as time goes on, and more people get lured into it.
And there's a dark side to that too, right? There's
yes.
a troublesome side to that. And we heard the opposition here today saying government should do more to make sure that they tackle problem gambling.
Absolutely. That's always the controversy surrounding it. Okay, another vice, beer sales, and they're slipping. And one brewing giant, Richard, is doing something a little bit differently.
Does that surprise you that Canadians are drinking less beer? Because we're kind of like a beer nation.
Yeah, no, I guess it does. I hadn't really thought about it, but yeah.
Apparently, beer consumption peaked in 1973, has been sliding slowly sliding ever since, and then in the last couple of years, kind of really falling off.
Is it the main beer companies or the microbrewers? Are they added into it? Like,
they're added into it. It's total beer sales. What's been going up? Wine consumption. And ready-to-drink cocktails, so like hard lemonade and hard seltzer is very big. So yeah, the beer companies, they're hurting. Molson Coors revenue in the last quarter down substantially. So what's it doing? Molson pivoting, spending $60 million, Cynthia, to open a new production facility here in Ontario, making not beer but hard seltzer, which is sugar-free.
They're trying to get in on the market.
They're trying to get in on that. It's sugar-free, low-calorie, all that, right? And they're hoping that trend continues. This is the thing when you're trying to predict the trends. You're spending $60 million on a factory.
Right. What if people change in a year or two before the factory's even...
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do my part, though. I'll keep drinking a few years. I'll do my part.
Yeah, okay. All right. I'm not a beer person. Okay. We journalists, Richard, as you know, we love Twitter. We follow it very closely in our jobs.
Hopelessly addicted.
Hopelessly,
Even though people say mean things to us sometimes on Twitter.
I know. But things are changing.
Yeah, a new feature being rolled out today. This is actually pretty interesting. Twitter rolling out a feature called Twitter Circle. Lets you select a group of the people you follow to send your tweet to. So instead of your tweet going out to everybody that looks at it, you can pick and choose the people.
Interesting.
From 1 to 150, Cynthia.
Well, that could work, because sometimes we reach out to somebody, but we don't want the whole world to see that we've reached out to them. So you could do sort of, it's like a DM, but not a DM, I suppose.
A selective tweet that you send out to a circle of your friends. Critics, though, they say this is not what Twitter is all about. It's supposed to be blasting it out there to the public. But Twitter, they're trying to correct a bad public image where there's a lot of negative sentiment going on, and they hope this might help, Cynthia.
I have to say, I mean, the vile tweets and emails that journalists get, particularly female journalists, particularly those who are BIPOC, is absolutely disturbing. And it has to change. Yeah. It really does.
Yeah. Hopefully this helps.